Hey guys, so in the spirit of Halloween and the month of October, I am finally getting this video done for you guys. I actually had planned for this to go up October 1st, and then life got crazy. As you've probably noticed, I've had, it feels like a million celebrity interviews, which is amazing, don't get me wrong, but very time consuming, not to mention virtual schooling. But I'm going to give you my 10 favorite Halloween movies, or movies to watch on Halloween, because they're not all Halloween and they're not all scary, but they're my 10 favorite movies to watch on Halloween. And I am going to give you 5 honorable mentions as well. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about it. Hey, Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. Okay, so first is going to be The Witches. Now, this is actually really in the forefront of my mind because we have gotten the trailer for the Witches reboot, right? Which is coming to HBO Max, which, by the way, I think looks good. Not nearly as creepy as the original. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit older at this point. But The Witches was such a good movie, is such a good movie. When I was younger, it would terrify me. Like when Angelica Houston took her face off, I had nightmares. And I was constantly afraid that I was going to get turned into a mouse or stuck in a painting. Like, it was nuts. And this movie is so good, so absolutely terrifying, and so perfect to watch on Halloween. It really is, you guys. I hope you all like this movie. Let me know if you do down below. Actually, before we keep going, make sure you give me your list down below so that we can compare. And do it before I do mine, because or else that's cheating if you just copy me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, The Witches, absolutely terrifying. I'm very much looking forward to the new one, although I do not think it is going to be as scary at all. I think it will be more lighthearted, probably still a little scary, but I can't imagine it being as scary as the original. It was terrifying. I had nightmares. Speaking of nightmares, next on my list is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw this movie when I was way too young to see this movie, and it terrified me. And then someone in my family was like, oh, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to scrape a rake down the window and make you almost pee your pants. So that's a movie that has always terrified me. A perfect Halloween movie. It's so scary. I mean, it's literally, he attacks you in your sleep. Like Freddy Krueger attacks you in your sleep. So like you can't go to sleep. That's insane. You just have to stay awake all the time. And if you go to sleep, you're not safe. That's terrifying for somebody, even an adult, to think about. Like, I love to sleep. I want to sleep all the time. And if monsters are going to attack me in my sleep, I don't want to go to sleep. You know? All right, so that's number 9. Number 8 is Coraline. I love this movie. It's so much fun. The other mother, the button eyes. I mean, it's like made for kids, sort of, but it's also a little bit terrifying, right? This kid's like, man, I'm mad at my parents. I'm going to go see this other mother. And the other mother's like literally takes kids' eyeballs out of their heads. Like, that's terrifying. And then she turns into this spider thing. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But it's such a fun movie. Like, Coraline is fun in a dark and creepy, scary kind of way, right? That's what I think. Next up is Final Destination. You guys, Final Destination absolutely terrified me. Like, I was just talking about this with one of my friends, Amy, over at As the Bunny Hops, and we were talking about how our lives have changed because of Final Destination. Like, you think I'm going to be driving behind a log truck? Never going to happen. I won't be driving behind a log truck. I'm checking the trays every time I get on a flight to make sure the tray's not going to come down. I make sure my water bottles stay nice in their cup holders and they aren't going to go under the brakes so that I can't brake while I'm driving. I mean, there's so many things that I have started doing because of Final Destination, right? It's kind of terrifying and it's crazy. I love off-the-wall banana ways to murder people in movies. Let's be clear here. In movies, I love it. And Final Destination just takes all of that crazy, throws in a little bit of gore here and there, and it's an absolutely crazy franchise. The original is actually a good movie, right? I really enjoyed the plot. I actually enjoyed the movie. After that, they kind of just become crazy, wacky things, a lot like the Scream franchise, which I'm here for. But it's not going to be one of the lists of my favorite movies, but they're fun, you know? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Anyway, next up is The Nightmare Before Christmas. How can you have a list of Halloween movies without this one? Now it falls perfectly between a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie, and what is it? I don't know, but I can tell you that I'm here for Jack Skellington and Skellington and Sally and the mayor. I love them all of everything about it. Oogie Boogie, he's one of my favorite villains. Oogie Boogie is amazing. This movie is creepy but fun and musical. It's good for kids. It's good for families. We watch it every Halloween and every Christmas. So The Nightmare Before Christmas, for sure. It had to be on this list. I couldn't keep it off this list. Next up is Hocus Pocus. I mean, how can you have a list without Hocus Pocus? I went back and forth on adding this, and to have it so high on my list is actually a little bit insane. I know, I get it. But Hocus Pocus is so fun. Who doesn't love the Sanderson sisters and Binks? Oh, I love Binks. He's like my favorite. He's my spirit animal. They actually have shirts that say Binks is my spirit animal, and I need to get myself one. But I just absolutely love Hocus Pocus. The zombie guy that comes after them and he sticks his hand up and his fingers get chomped off. Come on, it's the best. It's so much fun. It's a perfect Halloween movie. And it's an absolute blast for the whole family. So it's one of my absolute favorite movies. I'm sure all of you have seen it. And if you haven't, run out and watch Hocus Pocus now. It's not going to be the best movie, but it's going to be a ton of fun. And next up I have Breitburn. You guys, I can't do a list without Breitburn. I know there's so many mixed feelings on this movie, but I love Breitburn. I mean, I love me some James Gunn. You guys know that. I think everything the man does is a genius, is genius, which is true. The man is a genius. He's absolutely brilliant. And Breitburn is like amazing. It's basically evil Superman. It's like Superman if he was evil, and it's crazy, and the whole plot is awesome, and the whole the way he kills people and hurts people is absolutely insane. It's so gory and gross. The glass in the eyeball, which we all saw in the trailers. Oh, the fact that I have to look and watch it like this means it's a really good Halloween spooky movie. It's something I will never show my children, at least for a very long time. And my husband doesn't even like it, so I have to watch it myself. But that is a movie I highly, highly recommend. It's one of my favorites, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's one of my favorite movies to watch on Halloween. It's scary, it's spooky, it's crazy, it's off the wall, and I kind of want a whole collection of movies from that, like a whole superhero. Let's just do it. Let's just do a franchise in the Breitburn world. I'm here for it. I mean, at the end, they show a spoiler, but listen, if you haven't seen Breitburn yet, you're missing out. Go watch it. But on TV, on the news, they show all these other evil type superhero, not heroes, supervillains, right? They show other evil versions of Aquaman and stuff. So here for it. I would love that. So come on, James Gunn, get on that. I know you're super busy with the Suicide Squad and Guardians 3, but I want a Breitburn franchise, so get to work. And then we have one of the funnest horror movies I have ever seen in my life, Ready or Not. I absolutely love Ready or Not, okay? Not only is the main actress amazing, and there's so much gore, and there's so many fun kills, and unexpected kills, and some jump scares. The story is actually super entertaining, and I love the ending. It's one of the best endings of a movie for me. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I highly recommend seeing it. If you haven't seen Ready or Not, you're truly, truly, truly missing out. It is just so great from beginning to end because it's scary. It's terrifying. The plot is basically you married into this family, now you have to play a game. Oh, the game's hide and seek. Guess what? That means they're going to try to kill you before the sun comes up. That's crazy pants. Why? Who does that, right? I'm just going to murder this person because I'm a little afraid that something bad's going to happen if I don't. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it. But seriously, it's one of the most fun and unexpected horror movies. I thought it was going to be all right, but man, I loved it. And I've seen it at least 10 times now. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's fantastic. And like I said, the ending is insane. It's insane. I love it. All right. Next is The Shining. How do you have a list of movies to watch on Halloween that are either spooky or fun Halloween movies and not talk about The Shining? The Shining is terrifying. I still have a hard time watching it as an adult. I will have nightmares after I watch The Shining, but it's so good. The twins, they're creepy. I mean, so much about it is creepy. It's terrifying, and Jack Nicholson is amazing in it. I mean, the whole thing is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And I know Dr. Sleep comes after The Shining, and I still haven't seen Dr. Sleep. I know, guys. I know. But I still haven't seen it, so I need to watch it. I do have the book that I want to read first, but The Shining, it's so good. It's a classic, but it holds up, A lot of the older movies, especially now with all the new special effects. You watch it and you're like, oh, that's not as scary as I remember it being, you know, like, oh, I can see that wire there, or I know that this is that, and this is that, and that's not that spooky. No, The Shining is absolutely terrifying, and I feel like it will remain terrifying forever, because it's just so scary. The concept of it is so scary and terrifying. Terrifying is the word. Terrifying is how I would describe The Shining. That's a really good Halloween spooky movie. And the top one for me, you guys, House on Haunted Hill. I loved this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun, but like super scary. And again, this is another one I had nightmares over when I first watched it. I have not seen it in a few years, so I'm not sure that it still holds up, although I feel like it will. I mean, I love this movie, and this is one that I'm dying to introduce my kids to when they get a little bit older. I just thought it was fun. I mean, Vincent Price you can't go wrong with him. He's scary. He's a scary dude. Just his voice is scary. So the concept of this movie was just so great, and it's such a classic horror movie. So House on Haunted Hill, for me, is my number one to watch this Halloween. And I did not forget my honorable mentions. You guys, I'm going to throw a new horror movie at you guys. You might be surprised. My embargo for this just broke this week, so I just talked about it earlier this week. The Mortuary Collection. This was such a surprise to me, and it almost made the list. It's a collection of horror spooky movies, or stories, I should say, kind of like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, right? There's one overall story, but then you have spooky stories in between. And you can watch my full review up here now. But wow, this movie had gore. It was creepy. The stories were crazy, yet somehow they gave you like a valuable lesson, which you would never expect. It has one of my favorite scenes of any horror movie, is the elevator scene in the Mortuary Collection. It's absolutely amazing for so many reasons. And since this is so new, I don't want to give you any spoilers. I will just say you have to watch it. Despite one really cheesy thing that made me so mad because it looked cheesy. Okay, the script, the plot part, that point, it wasn't cheesy, but it looked so cheesy. And I was like, you were better than this. You're so much better than this. Despite that, it is still one of my favorite horror movies. And it's crazy. I want to talk about it so much, but I can't because it's so new. But you guys have to check that out. That's a great one to watch this Halloween. And another honorable mention, Beetlejuice. This almost made my list. Beetlejuice is so fun, even though he's gross, he's weird, he's quirky. But I've been talking about watching it with my kids maybe for the first time. I mean, he's vulgar, right? And I'm trying to remember. I need to watch it again because it's been a couple of years since I've seen it. And my kids are 7 and 9, and I feel like they're okay for Beetlejuice, but I need to go back and watch it again before I let them watch it. But this is such a fun Halloween movie. Like, who doesn't love it? I mean, Beetlejuice. No, I was kind of hoping he would show up here. It's a fun movie. It's perfect for Halloween. If you guys don't think it's perfect for Halloween, you're crazy, because it's awesome. Another honorable mention is Overlord. You guys, this was one of my favorite movies the year it came out. It's bloody, gory, off-the-wall crazy. There's some phenomenal acting in it, and it's about Nazis. And then it takes a whole twist that I didn't really see coming, and I don't want to give anything away because if you haven't seen it yet, which I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, I haven't seen Overlord. Was it really that good? Yes, it was really that good. First of all, it has Fitz in it from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so there you go. There's your reason to watch it right there. But it's so good, and the story is so good, and it's so gory and disgusting, and again, there were moments I had to look away because it was so nasty, and I love a movie like that. I'm a big fan of a movie like that. So Overlord is in the honorable mentions for you to watch this Halloween. Also on that list is 13 Ghosts. Now, let me tell you, my husband makes fun of me for this all the time. 13 Ghosts scared the ever-living bejesus out of me when I was younger. I wasn't even a kid. I think I was in college or maybe a senior in high school when I watched it. And I was so scared, I made my sister come into the bathroom with me for like a week because I didn't want to go in the bathroom alone because I was afraid some ghost was going to be in there and get me. It terrified me. I have only watched it once, and it is stuck in my head. I need to watch it again. And hopefully it's not as scary. But, I mean, I've watched it once, and it's something I still will have nightmares over. It was so creepy. I don't know. The ghosts and I'm trying to not even think about it right now, because I will freak out. But 13 Ghosts is a very creepy Halloween movie. Although I feel like a lot of people have different opinions on that one. And last but most certainly Cloverfield. The original Cloverfield, the first one. I think so much of it is because it's like a handheld, real people filming, and you don't see the monster forever, and it's just scary. And honestly, it feels like something that could happen in 2020, knock on wood, because for real, it just feels so real, right? And I think that's one of the things that's so scary about Cloverfield. I do like the whole franchise. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. I would love more. But it's scary because it's so real, and because you don't see the monster and you're in suspense for so much of it. So there you go, guys. There's my list. There's my 10 movies that I recommend to watch this Halloween, plus some 5 honorable mentions. So you got a lot of options. Let me know what your favorites are down below in the comments so we can discuss. Let me know if any of these, if you're like, listen, Tessa, you're crazy. I feel like there's a few that you're going to tell me those don't deserve to be on any list, even a top 100 list. But we'll see. I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss out on videos like this one. Of course, you can always follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Mama's Geeky over there. MAMASGEEKY. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys. I'll see you next time.